In today's breaking news, a car cranks but will not start, the next it flies.
Good afternoon, guys. This is your Dr. Cool Auto Fix. Today I got a new guy in the house, and this guy here probably it might have introduced himself to you, but you don't really know that this is the guy who introduced himself to you. No one funny thing about a car component sensors, they have a unique way to introduce themselves to say knock knock, hey, I'm coming in. And you don't have to, he doesn't need your permission to come in and tell you and introduces himself to you, just like no, this is not a gentleman. This is not it can be a little bit aggressive with that introduction, because most often times it comes intrusively into your life without your permission. No, it doesn't need your permission. Now, where it's going to be needing your permission is when you have been checking up on it and saying, hello, how are you doing? Are you fine? Are you hungry? Do you need some snacks? Do you need some chips and fries? That is where you're actually going to be having this guy. And you checking up on it, that is when he's going to actually introduce himself to you right there and say, hey, I'm having a headache. I need some pills. I'm going to be needing some paracetamol. I'm going to be needing some ibuprofen. Maybe I'm having some kind of pain right there. You know, my nerves, I need some massage right there. I need some touch on my shoulders. You know, I need some massage on my neck ache and all that. But if you're not the kind of person who is very concerned and very consistent in checking out your car, your ride, and knowing how its components are doing, well, it's gonna come like bang, here I come, buddy. Who is at home? Now you better get ready for me before I kick your ass. Hello, buddy. So now this is your Hall sensor or your camshaft position sensor. For most oftentimes, the engineering of this guy here and the crankshaft position sensor might not be the same, and sometimes they are the same. This is actually for Ford Contour and probably for a lot of Ford out there. The good thing about Ford they did on this car is this is actually a crankshaft position sensor, and at the same time this is also your camshaft position sensor. Now that's a good one, because if suppose you're having a problem and you needed to go faster and the car doesn't want to go, let's say that you lost one of it and that the crankshaft position sensor died, you can switch it up. You can switch the camshaft position sensor for crankshaft position sensor and start the car right away if the temperature of the environment has reached a certain degrees, let's say within the noon, right? If it is within the summertime. And because if you leave it there as a camshaft position sensor, there's going to be a lot of P0300 and there's going to be a lot of crank nose tap. So they did it good. But for some other manufacturers that engineer their own differently, like VW, which I'm going to be showing you, that is completely different. The crankshaft position sensor, their design features and fitment, it's completely different. You can't cross fit the both of them. That is where you're going to be having a lot of nightmares. All right. So what does this guy do when it goes bad? The camshaft position sensor. Remember what I told you, it plays both roles in some cars, and in some cars it plays just only one role. It's still also where they design it specifically for. Why, before telling you this, I've actually fitted it into my Ford Mondeo and it works like a champ. So I am not giving you tabloid, I'm not blogging crap, I'm not telling you what I found out on research or trying to support any blogger who is not a mechanic. Now for Volkswagen models and some other cars, European models, there are various in Toyotas that they have a different thing entirely, totally. I'm going to be giving you more details on this more than any other guy. If you have a twin cam in your car, let's say like Toyota with a 2.4 liters, you'll be having two camshaft position sensor. And that's why we're going to be having bank 1 and bank 2. The one that comes to say hello, how are you doing the first time when you open the engine is the bank 1. The next guy at the back is the bank 2. right? Now, for most cars that are equipped with their engine configuration is with a one cam, you're going to be having one camshaft position sensor, like a VW model, which I'm about to show you right now. And so let's go over there. Let me show you. Then I start telling you the location, some other functions which I haven't listed yet, what you should do when you start going back. For this car here, most of you who haven't actually been a core VW mechanic, you're going to find it very hard, but the clue I'm going to be giving you is going to help you to find it in any car, make and model. For Toyota and some Honda, you're going to be seeing it right on top of this cylinder here. On top of this cylinder, you're going to see one and see two. Another thing going to be seen on top there, so you don't confuse it, is you're going to be seeing their variable valve time in the VVT solenoid. There cannot be two if you have a two camshaft. It's going to be having two of them. Now, two camshaft position sensor. But for this very car here, if you look at the size, if the size of the top cylinder head is like my hand like this, though there are some other cars like a France make car like this Peugeot that have two camshaft, but they have only one camshaft position sensor. That is how they did theirs, but I'm not going to be discussing it on this very video. Then if the camshaft if the cam cover, or is like my hand, like 5-inch, definitely it's having a one cam. All right. And let me show you some other way to know if you have double twin cam or one cam. Now this is the top cylinder head of my car. Right here there is one seal. That one seal right there you're seeing right here is the camshaft that is sitting on top of it. Now, some other cars also, if you want to find the camshaft position sensor for your car, it's always going to be around the top cylinder head, because that is where the camshaft is. The sensor has to be close to the camshaft in order to take the readings correctly. So here for this very car here, if you search for it all in front here, you're not going to see it. Although in the Passat model, this is Jetta, you're going to be seeing it somewhere here. But for this Jetta, you're going to find it right at the back here. Just underneath the throttle body, that is where it is. It has 3 wires. Now that's one thing which I want to actually tell you guys. The engineering feature of the camshaft position sensor always mimics the crankshaft. Like the Ford Mondeo that have this, that is 2 wire. The camshaft is 2 wire. Now this Jetta, it has 3 wire in the camshaft, and the crankshaft is what? 3 wires. So I haven't seen a car that have a 2 wire camshaft and a 2 wire and a 3 wire crankshaft. It hasn't happened. Now, what are the symptoms of a bad camshaft position sensor? When the camshaft position sensor goes bad, it mimics almost the same thing the crankshaft does first, but they have a unique one. The unique one is what I'm going to tell you at the end of this video. The first you're going to be seeing is poor acceleration. 2, poor rough idle. You're going to be having a very, very mild rough idle. Because why does it have that rough idle? It's having the rough idle because the ECM doesn't know when the valve 1 opens and the valve 2 opens, because the ECU is actually using it to know when the intake valve and the outlet valve opens. And it does it because he monitors exactly where the lube of the cam goes when he closes one and opens the other. So he uses that to monitor it. So you're going to be having a rough idle because it doesn't know, so it pretty much is confused about which valve is open and which valve is closed. There's also going to be having a poor acceleration because if it doesn't know when the inlet valve and the outlet valve open and close, it's pretty much going to be doing some random shit up there. You're also going to be having a poor throttle response as much as bad gas mileage. Whatever puts the computer on board into confusion is going to be dealing with engine loss of power, loss of acceleration power, and when it does that, what you should be noticing is that the ECM will be compensating for the loss of power and using fuel to do that compensation. And that is where you're going to be paying a lot in your gasoline. You're going to be seeing a lot of people on the gasoline station giving you a handshake. It's not because you did what no man has ever done. It's because you're paying more than you're supposed to be paying for gas. Now let's switch up the camera and still go further. Now, some other symptoms which you're also going to be noticing right there is you're going to be having a P0300 multiple cylinder misfire. I guess you should be seeing it coming. There is no any other hidden stuff you're going to be seeing right there. You're going to be having P0300. You're going to be having also you're going to be having some sort of backfire, because when it doesn't know when the inlet valve opens for more air and when outtake valve opens for the exhaust gas to be thrown out into the exhaust system, there is every tendency that there's going to be some sort of allowing some fuel that has not been fully compressed to jet off. That is technically what it is. All right, it doesn't know it. So, but in the real time, in the real world, these two sensors, the camshaft position sensor and the crankshaft position sensor, are supposed to be working interrelationship. I mean, they're going to be having some kind of, they're going to supposed to be best couples. I'm not talking about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, but they're going to be like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West before Kim Kardashian decided to pull the plug and say that he's having some, what do you call it again, bipolar, and decide to, to run when she is actually supposed to be there. Don't take this like a celebrity gossip. This is just giving you a tip on the iceberg about what happened when a camshaft position sensor goes. That relationship between that bond, that love that is said is thicker than blood, gets even much more softer than water. And the two couples are going to be having some disagreement, and your engine is going to be paying for it. So you're going to be having a multiple cylinder misfire and going to be unnecessary burning of the gasoline. So you want to be looking out for any code related to camshaft position sensor to get that resolved ASAP, so you don't create more damage on your engine or paying too much for gasoline. Then the last tip which I'm going to be giving you right there is that it makes the engine to start and stall. What that means is it makes you to start the car and the car shuts off immediately. That is what the camshaft position sensor does. And why that happens is because most other engineers, car manufacturers, are very stringent about this sensor, because instead of keeping it not well informed with signals back to the ECM, then it's better to shut off the engine. If it doesn't put the car in limp mode, then it just allow the car to start and shut off and turn on a check engine light. You're gonna see a check engine light. I forgot to say that. It's gonna have a check engine light when that guy goes bad, because it's an engine related. So you should put on a check engine light. But if you don't have a check engine light, then there's a problem with your malfunction indicator light being bad. So you need to have it fixed to have you notify whenever there is a problem with this engine. Then the last one which I'm going to be using to crown this up is that you're going to be having a terrible or hard start first thing in the morning. That's why most Africans or most other people call it a cold start sensor. So when the camshaft position sensor goes bad, it first start giving you its serving you coffee in the morning as crank no start in the morning. But as soon as the day comes on and the heat of the environment goes on, I don't know how it does that, like a temperature sensor, then the car starts, but it's going to be having some sort of misfiring on the way. So you have misfire, you have multiple cylinder misfire, you have poor throttle response, you have poor rough idle, you have a crank no start, you have hard start, and a lot of them. So guys, be sure to subscribe channel for more tips concerning car related issues. You're gonna guard the car like a habit like this to have it fixed when you start making a mess and know exactly what to do. Subscribing to my channel and turning on the notification bell icon on. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that some other people who are having the same issue like you and don't have money to pay the mechanic will find it and fix their car too. I remain Dr. Cool Auto Fix. If this doesn't solve your problem concerning camshaft related problems, before going further, Before condemning that sensor, check for the wiring pins and check for a 5 volts reference that's supposed to be coming there. If it has 3 wires, it's going to be having 12 volts power supply. The middle should be 5 volts reference, then the other should be the ground. That's mostly how most car manufacturers does it, but they have 2 wires. One is going to be ground, the other one is going to be 5 volts reference coming from the ECM. So you want to check for those and make sure that all these requirements are met with before you condemn it and proper power is going in there. Because if you replace it without checking for all those things, you're just a pass replacer, and it's not going to solve the problem. The code is going to remain there. So I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.